play. From the tarantula to the tiny mite, 8 legs of wisdom bringing truth to light. On the spider sense they break down the fear, creepy crawly legends are getting clear. For the love of science spreading wide, uniting communities in arachnid pride. We tune in, listen up, let it right. Feel the fascination flip overnight. Spider wisdom flowing through the airwaves, building bridges with the facts it.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the 4th episode of the Spider Sense podcast, where we are going to talk about all of our unhinged peculiar exotics. I want to introduce all of my friends here today. The first one is Arachnid Cat. Cat, would you like to introduce yourself, and then we'll go around?
Sure. Everyone, Arachnid Cat on all platforms, Arachnid Cat. I am a kind of specialist of entomology and arachnology. I study more behavior and scientific names for all tarantulas.
Awesome. Ashley?
So I'm Ashley, otherwise known as Short-Tailed Sweetie. So I keep a whole bunch of things. Mostly I have my 2 short tails that everybody knows. My other special interest is tarantulas and invertebrates. So I'm new to the whole invertebrates and tarantula community, but I'm excited.
We're so happy to have you. Phil?
So I'm Phil. I'm at Wellington Exotics. I have, a bunch of colubrids, some short-tailed pythons, and I've recently started keeping some tarantulas. Mostly old world stuff, but a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then for myself, I'm Jen at Jen's Peculiar Exotics. I have the YouTube channel, also at Jen's Peculiar Exotics, Instagram. I mostly keep arachnids, but this year I have dipped my toes into keeping snakes, which I am so happy about. I am so grateful that I got my little snakies. They literally are like the best pets ever. So it's really exciting, like me and Kat, we're more of like arachnid people, and then Ashley and Phil are more of like the snake people. So we'll be able to tell you guys like the differences of like the keepings of arachnids versus reptiles and all that good stuff today. So I just want to the first question I want to discuss today is, the pros and cons of having these exotic pets. So if anybody wants to go first, just go ahead. Or if you guys want me to go first, you want me to go first? Oh, yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
They're expensive, but they're fun.
It is expensive, yeah.
Yeah, and they take up a lot of space. You have to make sure that people that are also in your household are acceptable of the animals that you own. Have you guys ever had somebody not want to come over because you have exotics?
Yeah, especially with the spiders.
For sure.
I think those can be off-putting to a lot of people. Just like a lot of people would never ever keep a bunch of them in Tupperware and Starlight containers and feed them and stuff, and they walk in, they see that, and they're like, oh geez, that's new.
Yeah.
Right.
In the 90s, that's all we had was Tupperware and the big jars and stuff like that. But now we have good quality enclosures that we can use that can be a little bit step up for people to be intrigued by it. So that's cool.
Yeah, that definitely makes it 10 times better, because especially back then, like when you watch episodes of people keeping exotic pets in like the 2000s, most of what you're seeing is people with houses that are just like, it's like a hoarding situation. The animals aren't being kept correctly. They're being kept in, bunches of them in containers that have no enrichment or anything in them. So like a lot of people just think like, when I tell people, yeah, I have like all these spiders in my house, they really believe like I have them just like free range chickens.
Free roaming, yes. Oh my God. That is all right. That's the worst one.
Yeah,
that's the worst one.
I know, and I'm just like, well, don't you consider that I might have like other pets that I have to protect them from? I'm just like, that's a little wild. But, to be able to show the people all of the nice enclosures, and because there are so many companies making enclosures, like, especially nowadays, that, like all different kinds, there's so many different ones to choose from. And yeah, like the nice enclosures just make it that much better, just for like especially people on the outside that are like trying to understand why we do what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you kind of spruce up the enclosure, you put like a spider, like a nice acrylic enclosure, whatever brand that may be, and you like you make it look nice. I feel like that's maybe a little easier to I guess deal with or tolerate for some people, as opposed to a less aesthetically pleasing setup. Even though everyone here knows that a Sterilite container or a Tupperware, like, functionally, it's not gonna it'll cover the same bases. You know what I mean? It's just not as aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
So I definitely think that's a factor too with like newer people.
Yeah, for sure. And like the difference too, especially because the Sterilite containers, they work just as fine as like, your tarantula cribs enclosures. They can still have locks on them. But you're putting all the ventilation holes in them. The biggest
Yeah,
difference
you
is
gotta
like,
do that, right?
right. And if you have like if you're like keeping slings and like you're new to the hobby and you poke those holes just like a little bit too large, then you might have like a loose spider. Those are like kind of like the pros and cons, but like also pricing. It's going to be a lot cheaper if you have a bunch of Sterilite containers compared to if you have like, tarantula cribs enclosures, exoterras, stuff like that are made of glass. But you have that extra security, and those enclosures are made with like exotic pets in mind. It's not
Right.
just like a shoebox.
I've been using the gasketed tubs. Like, they have like a rubber like lining or sealing around the lid, and those have been locking in humidity for like some of my New World stuff that maybe needs it a little more moist, and they've been really functional for like temporary grow out enclosures, right? If I'm gonna rehouse the spider anyway, you know what I mean? I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
wait until, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
thought process.
Yeah, and it's not always like about the aesthetics of it. It's more of like just making it sure like the tarantula has the right amount of given up space for the size of it, and the soil, the hide, the enrichment, foliage to feel secure, all of that stuff. I mean, it all does the same. It just looks different.
Right.
I
So
like
there's no
how
shame.
yeah, no shame at all. You can't, especially in the hobby, you can't. But I like how if you're just getting started, it's a good starting point to feel what species that you have, what meets their needs, especially for the Sterilite bins, the plastic bins, those Tupperwares. You get to control how much humidity is in there,
Yep.
or how much less you can put in. It does the work for you because it's a plastic. It's like a hard plastic, and when you put
Yeah.
something in glass, that humidity just evaporates like crazy. So when you're in this
Yeah.
hobby, it's good to know what species, what needs fits their needs.
Yeah, for sure. And there's like a lot of different options too. Like, I use like my critter keepers for my more arid species, and then I like to use my tarantula cribs for my more humid species. So, Ashley, what is your favorite thing, since like you're just now getting into like inverts and stuff? What has been your favorite part about them?
So far, I've had invertebrates or like tarantulas. Like I started 2 years ago, and my first tarantula was the Grammostola pulchra. Got the Latin name down, cat. Um,
You did good, yeah.
I started him as a little sling, and then that same day, I think I like went and picked up some like scarlet millipedes because I love millipedes.
They are so cool. I just
Um,
seen some rainbow ones at a
I
show.
think a lot of it though was I started it because out of fear, you know, how everybody starts. And I was like, well, why am I so afraid of this? Why is it like the way that it feels? Is it the way that it looks? That's kind of how I started it. Um, and I'll admit, I before I bought my first tarantula, I was working at a pet store and we were hanging out. I smoked some special plants before I went inside, and I was like, I'm gonna hold a tarantula today. I'm gonna see. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. I can do this. And it was most life-changing experience. Even though it pooped on me, I had a good old time.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's
And then
actually
yeah,
really
that
awesome.
Tinley show 2 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Grandma stole a polka, $90, got it.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
It's a good deal.
And now it's
Mhm.
kind of been an addiction slightly. Got to have
Yeah,
a little bit self-discipline.
it works that way with the snakes too.
Mm.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
snakes it's a
yeah,
little different because I could be like, okay,
it's
I
bad.
don't have this much room. I don't have this much room. But with the tarantulas, I'm like, I could fit it in this box. I could put it in this corner. I could put it down here. I could put it over there.
You can always make room with arachnids.
Yep.
But with
And that's why
reptiles,
it's
you kind of have to,
dangerous.
with the reptiles, you do have to make sure you have all that extra space, especially if you're like, or like, you know, a good example, like if you're starting with babies, like either baby tarantulas or baby snakes or baby reptiles, they're gonna get bigger eventually. Like
Right.
all reptiles, like before like when I first started getting into reptiles, like I just like didn't understand that like all of them really got as big as they do. Like they get huge. And like, cause
Hmm.
like they start out as these cute little babies, even the tarantulas, and then they get into like these huge, freaking giant animals, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, you need
Oh
to
yeah.
have like plans for that, you know?
I think a lot of people too, because they think, oh, it's just a spider, it doesn't need that much room.
Still needs a
So
good
they
amount of
don't
space.
like upgrade or rehouse very much.
It needs to happen. You need to rehouse
Yeah.
your tarantulas if they're running out of space.
This is
I
my
feel like,
biggest enclosure.
well,
It does
That's your
not
that's
what?
take that much space. So you're
Ye-
good with something like this. You're good.
Yeah, that is a really good example. That, you know, but they do get really big, little enclosures, and they take up space and they're heavy. Like you gotta have industrial shelving. What were you gonna say, Phil?
I
I I was gonna say it's important to keep in mind the size of whatever you're housing because sometimes I know that, especially with short-tailed pythons, too much space can be stressful, especially if it's a new environment. Short-tailed pythons, I feel, are one of the, I don't want to say few snakes, but they're some of the snakes that truly, truly do best in racks with windows or tubs because of basically their natural history. You know, they're almost fossorial, right? They're terrestrial in kind of hiding in leaf litter and stuff, low on the ground.
They have
Very
burrows.
cryptic, right?
They have burrows.
It's more like just like they love to bury themselves and like put their nose up above like a little bit of substrate and just like sit and wait for ambush. It's like classic. Like their head is like slightly above their body in like the substrate layer,
Right.
and they
Jen,
just
to
like
think
chill
about
there
it
and
for
hide.
feeding time, it's like trapdoor spiders. They
Yeah,
bury
yeah.
themselves, and then when it's food time, they're whoosh.
So they
Yeah.
love being covered and they love kind of being like hidden. So, you know, I have three adult bloods in some you know, glass T8 enclosures right now. Um, yeah, yeah, Markham, yeah. In
Mm.
mud or leaf litter or both in the wild, like
Marshy areas.
yeah, marshy areas, yep. So I have some bloods in like front glass enclosures, PVCs, and they do fine, but I do want to make the transition to a larger rack with larger windows just for that sense of security, and then um, the same thing like we were talking about with the starlight tubs. The racks keep the humidity in like really, really well.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to control the environment in each tub.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is something really important too. I just feel like a lot of people don't make their snake's environment moist enough, and I feel like that's why a lot of people are having to soak. And
Or
like,
respiratory issues.
is that
It's all about
true?
options. It's all about options. So like you don't like when I bump the humidity in like my blood python enclosure, like I have two hides. One of them is what I will bump, and then the other I'll just leave it alone. So if the animal wants humidity, it knows where to find it. It can figure it out and do that. If not, then it can just hang out. You know, you don't want to like kind of, I guess, smother it with one thing. You want to give it a gradient, you know?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. That gradient's super important because like in the wild they would be able to move.
Literally do whatever they want. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was wondering that too because I'm still considered a new snake owner because I've literally had my ball python since October. That was like that's when I
Yep.
first got him. But I do have him like in a big glass enclosure, and I do worry sometimes that like because it's dry where I live, like when I have all of the doors and the windows open, it's like 30% humidity. But
Yeah. Yeah.
in his hide though, it's really high, the humidity is. So, but then again at night, like I spray, make sure that like one side is nice and damp and then the other side is good.
Yeah. As long as you're giving him options or her, like, as long as you're giving your snake options, like, it shouldn't be a problem. I've had like when I don't have any ball pythons now, but a ball python was my first snake, and I used to keep my first snake in a 20-gallon long, like prior to getting PVC enclosures and like basically going down the rabbit hole. And yeah, if you just give the animal an option, you probably have like a cocoa chip type substrate in there, like you make sure that's like moist enough, like you're good to go. It's pretty point and shoot, unless like I don't know, it gets ridiculously dry. But I totally
Right.
feel you there because it's like probably 40% in my snake room right now. It's 47% humidity, and that's like on the higher end.
Right. Yeah, my room, like especially when the door's closed, it sits about 40. So I don't really worry
Yeah,
about it. But just because it is summertime, it's starting to get dry. I just want to make sure because I did because I had so the reason why I asked is because like for my geckos, I'm able to put down like a little bit of paper towel on the top to keep the moisture in, just because I'm not using a heat bulb and I'm using
yeah,
just like a UVB light with
yeah,
low wattage. But I can't do that with my
yeah,
snake because like then the air would get really hot like all together.
yeah.
So
You want ventilation. You
that's
want
what.
that ventilation.
Okay, because I've also had people, say like that's a bad thing that he has like that ventilated top, but he's
Well,
been
it
doing great with
depends.
it. So
Have you had any problems with stuck shed or anything?
no, his last shed
Okay.
came off in one piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
What
Then I
about
mean, he'll
scale
tell
rat?
you.
yeah, for sure. What
What
are you
about
gonna say?
scale rat?
What does scale rock come from, you guys?
Too moist of an environment.
Does it?
Yeah. So
I've
like
had
if
that
you,
happen
yeah, you
with
gotta
my
How
you
short
gotta
tails,
change.
Mm.
and
how did
then
that
with
happen
some
to
of
you
my
actually?
tropicals. Um, so I changed my bedding out. I originally had my short tails on like a basic soil. They were doing fine. And then I switched to this chip, and it's a little bit too wet for them. So, I mean, I don't have any problems shedding. The only problem I get is scale rot at times because it's too moist.
And
I
it didn't dry out.
Yeah, on average for a short tail, it's like humidity's like between 60 and like 80. I
Hmm.
have spoiled my short tails and done like 80 to 90 because keep in mind one of my first snakes was a Brazilian. So I always shoot for the highest humidity and I
Yeah.
forget, oh shit, some of these snakes don't need that high. So
Right.
I've learned that usually when that happens, depending on how severe it is, sometimes if I put like was it like Benadine on it, and like an antiseptic solution, or like I soak them like a little bit, or let the area dry itself out, it'll fix itself the next shed. But
Okay.
yeah, with high humidity, you'll see like brown under that scale,
Oh,
or
okay.
like a literal like
Yeah, so
rot at
it's
times. I've had it with my ball python. I'm dealing with it at the moment with my white lip because I struggle with humidity in the Midwest. Like on average, in here, a lot of my hydrometers say like 29%.
And
That's like my air.
it like gets like humid where you live, doesn't it?
It gets what?
Does it get humid where you live?
No,
Or
I'm in the
the dry?
Midwest, so we have to fight the dryness. So
Okay.
a lot with the ventilated, and I was going to tell you with the ventilated top, I've had it before. Like Phil was saying, as long as you don't have any shed problems or like you're checking your hydrometers, you
Right.
shouldn't have any problems. But with my humidity over here, yeah, I had to seal it off with like box and then like aluminum tape and ventilate it somehow. Yeah, I had to go a little bit above and beyond for some of my enclosures.
We all have to doctor an enclosure at some point.
Yeah.
JB Weld. I'm always using JB Weld to repair C or like cover something all the time, or Gorilla Glue.
Oh,
Yeah.
So with the scale rot, like that, so that happens with too high humidity, but also like a high prevalence of bacteria. That's where the rot comes in. So
Yeah.
like if you, so with my short tails, I keep them all on paper, and I keep them with a huge water bowl, and sometimes I'll pour the water on the paper so it's a moist environment. But
Mhm.
the paper is awesome because I can layer it heavily so they can feel like they're burrowing, but also it allows me to keep them super wicked clean. Like they pee all the time. So anytime they pee, I clean the whole shebang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always wonder because, like, you can't really see the snake pee, right? And so, like,
Well, you can with a short tail. You can with a short tail.
can you? Is it like a different
Yeah.
color?
It's a yellow big old
It's like
ball
a
or white
five
ball.
gallon bucket worth. It's like someone just took a Gatorade and just yeah. So like you'll know. Like you'll also smell it. But yeah, it's pretty severe. So that's why they do so well on paper, because you got to clean them. Like you got to give them a bath.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, first, I want to ask, because one of my patrons, Jason, asked the question, how often do snakes shed on average? Just on average.
It
Depends on the
depends. It
species
depends
and
like how often they're
age.
eating, the species. Yep. That's like really terrible answer, and I'm sorry, Jason.
That's okay.
It's just like it really depends. Like if, if you like, so what cues a snake to shed is like that stretching, right? That stretching when they're eating a big meal. Okay, so like if you really feed up a young snake, right, like a king snake or whatever, you just like pound it with food, it's gonna shed very frequently within its first
Mhm.
year. But like as that animal gets older, it's gonna get morbidly obese, right? And then as an adult, you're gonna just push it to obesity, and it's not gonna shed nearly as often because it it they can only get so big. You know what I mean with the smaller snakes.
Right. Well, that's a good answer. And like for like my ball python, it seems like I've had him since October and he shed twice. If that gives you an idea. And
How
he's an
old is he?
adult. He's an
Oh, he's an
adult.
adult. Okay, okay,
And
yeah. Yep.
and then my king snake, she's just a tiny little baby and she's already molted, or not molted, shed with
Yeah,
me.
she's
But
molted. Yeah,
yeah, she laid down her back and she just
all the
starts
legs,
moldering.
all the legs came out. Yeah.
What's crazy is like her spots are attached to the shed. I think that's crazy. Like that color really goes like all the
Yeah,
way that far. It's so cool.
it's like in there.
Get
How
his
Like
how
little
do you
it's
fluff
like
bag.
yeah.
how okay, so like I always think about giving my ball python a bath, and I have given him a bath, but I use like, you guys are probably gonna hate me, but I use like anti antibacterial gold yellow bar soap, and I just take like a little bit and I mix it in the water, and then I just like let him dip himself, and then I like rinse him off. So how else can you wash a
Girl,
snake?
just use Dawn. If
Just
you
use
Yeah,
are
Dawn.
bathing,
Blue Dawn,
just use
Blue Dawn dish
Dawn.
soap. It's
That, what if it
that's the
gets like
gas.
in his mouth?
No. The
You'll
Blue Dawn is legit. Like they use
That's
that to
what we get
wash
to
off
get mites
ducks.
off.
Yeah, no,
Ducks.
Blue Dawn is goated. You got it. Just a little, like a little tiny bit
Just a
in
little
the
drop.
water, and like you swirl it around to get some bubbles. But I don't use Dawn dish soap. I have, it's probably a 65-gallon tub, and I fill that with like 6 gallons of water. And if one of my short tails pisses really hard, I put it in there for like half an hour and let it just soak, and then just like douse the enclosure.
And what? That's the enclosure and what?
7% hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
It will literally, it obliterates everything. Like I'm pretty sure it'll get rid of like nidovirus and everything too, serpentivirus. I know Dr. Loafman uses 12%, but you got to go outside to use that shit, and I don't want to like chemically burn myself, so I use the 7.5 inside.
Okay. Yeah.
It cleans. It cleans.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
It cleans good.
It's gonna sizzle that dirt off.
Yeah, you can literally hear it bubble when
Yeah.
it hits the bacteria. It's awesome.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, okay, so for my ball python then, who doesn't pee like a water park, does
Yeah,
like
different ball game. Different ball game. You just
Right.
scoop the substrate out. Yeah, that's
you
it.
just scoop the substrate and
Scoop it. You're good.
like I like mix his substrate up like once a week. I do a real good mixing. And then like would you say
Perfect.
how often should I change his bedding then? Because like I have forest floor cypress mulch. Or yeah, cypress mulch.
So what you should do is go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and you get like the 20-pound bag of organic mulch with no pesticides, and that is essentially the same thing. It's $4. Okay.
So they make it
It's the
without
same
the
shit.
pesticides.
It's all fucking marketing. Yep.
Organic,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So you go to Lowe's. It's like Timberline. Timberline is the brand I use. I spend like $12 on substrate for like shit, damn near 20 snakes. Like, you know what I
You
mean?
can do
So
cocoa. You can find like your orchid cocoa too, or
yeah,
whatever. You can
any of
mix
that
that
stuff.
in,
But
perlite.
listen. The most important thing is you can't go to the store and then put the substrate in the enclosure that same day. You have to sterilize the substrate. So what does that mean? I have a large chest freezer in my basement full of rodents. Okay, so what I do is I take the dirt and I put it in there for a week. And when I take it out, it's literally a frozen block of dirt. Okay, like a frozen bag of mulch. And then I let it thaw, and then I put it in my enclosures because I don't want any bugs of any kind. They're either frozen or
best.
what'll
Phil is giving you the best advice so that you don't have to deal with fungus gnats this summer.
You don't want no bug, no fungus gnats, ants, kinds like. Or what you can do is, if it's really hot out, you wrap your substrate in a black plastic trash bag and leave that in the sun, and that will literally cook everything.
Can you also put them in the oven? Can you put it in the oven too?
Yeah, but if you want to put dirt in your oven, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
It's just like the
I'm
same
done.
thing as
I don't
rinsing
give a
off the
shit about
water
my
dishes.
oven.
I rinse my water dishes in my bathtub.
Honestly, I'll dishwash them. If you put it on sanitize, if it's over 220 something degrees, it's gonna fry everything, right?
Oh.
So
Yeah.
you're putting food that's made contact with like raw chicken and raw meats. You're putting that in your dishwasher. It's killing that same shit. You know what I mean? So it's all the same. It's all getting nuked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's getting nuked. I haven't heard that in such
Yeah.
a long time, Phil. I used to have parents that used to say that. Nuke it.
That's what it is. Everything is getting cooked in the dishwasher. Like if you put it on sanitize, it heats up extra hot water and it fucking cleans it.
That's good to know. I did not know that about my dishwasher.
So like if you quarantine animals, like I have a bunch of snakes in here, right? So if I get a new snake, I keep it in an incubator in another room, right? For
Mhm.
like 2 months.
Right.
And then at least, right? And then everything every tool that I use with the quarantined animal is like dishwashed on sanitized and hit with hydrogen peroxide and like ultra cleaned for biosecurity purposes because you don't want mites or any sort of viruses.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, and that's a good thing too. Is when you guys get new reptiles, especially even tarantulas, like, and you have a really large collection. Make sure you're checking the animal out when you bring it home. First of all, while you're still at the show, make sure that there's no
Especially
bugs.
wild caught.
Yeah, especially wild caught animals. They could have like little passengers. You don't want to get any mites or anything like that. So you just want to make sure you can have a space where you can put that spider and what is it called? Like pretty much just like
Quarantine.
quarantine. Yes. Yeah.
A lot of times what I'll do with snakes is when I get one, I'll soak it for like 2 hours, maybe even more. Because if you put it in water, right, and it drinks, it gets hydrated, right? You change that water. Then you put a little tiny bit of Dawn dish soap in that water and you soak it for another couple of hours. What that Dawn dish soap does is it actually breaks the surface tension of the water. So if there are any passengers on this snake, right, they will drown.
Okay. That's good to know. This is all really good information to know.
I listen, I had mites one time, and I treated
Yeah, and
every single animal every single week for 2 months, and I eradicated all the mites. I'm super careful with quarantine biosecurity. I don't just like you got to buy from trusted people, and if you go to a show, like you change all your clothes, you take a shower before you go in the snake room, like nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, once you get something in your collection, you become pretty aware of like how bad that can end up being. I mean,
It
just
can
like
be a day
anything,
ruiner.
bugs, diseases, viruses, stuff like that. So you guys, what's the differences between keeping arachnids and reptiles?
Money.
Well, yeah, obviously money.
Just
Money.
like literally
What about
electricity
time?
bills.
What about time though? Because like here's my question is because like Phil, you're like a doctor and you have like this full-time job. How do you balance work and all your animals?
So I'm a physical therapist. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll get up a little early and I'll do some stuff before work. I have dedicated days like to do dedicated stuff. Like Thursday, Friday, I'll do a water change and feed, kind of whatever. And then also I spot clean as I see it. I spot change waters as I see it. I check every animal every day because, it's that individual interaction is important, right? But with the full-time job, you just have to make it work. Like if you're going to keep animals, right? Like you have to figure it out. You know what I mean? Even if you're busy,
Right.
because the snakes, you can't let it sit in its own poop.
Yeah, for sure. You got to be cleaning up all the time, checking on them. Well, I just wanted you to say that just because like there is like the thought that like you can just like get these animals and because they do live in enclosures that
What it
we
is,
don't
yeah.
have to like do anything, but there's so much more to keeping them than just like having them in our house. Like
different animals have different types of requirements too, because the arachnids are very easy. I can do all of that in like, I don't know. I like to take videos of my spiders eating, so like it takes mad long because I'm always like,
yeah, you want to take some pictures. Yeah, I'm always trying to take pictures too while I'm feeding. It takes me 4 hours.
because sometimes you never see them. Like the oh those fossorial tarantulas, you'll never see them, and then when they eat, they'll like actually come chill for like 0.2 seconds, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's your time to appreciate them for sure.
yeah, it's your brief moment.
Yeah, there's not much interaction with the arachnids versus the reptiles. I mean, there are, but like you still have like people that say like we shouldn't be interacting with our arachnids at all. But it's totally
Well,
up to the
don't let them
spider.
see me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely
I
don't let
so
'em
like
see you.
I am in that school of thought, but I also would never shame someone for interacting with an arachnid. Unless
Right.
they're like, I mean, I don't think you should be handling our old worlds. I think that's kind of
No, I
I
don't
think
think
that's kind of
so.
like, dude, you could, like, you could.
I've seen people, but yeah,
Like,
my thought is like, wait, why are you doing that?
would it be
Okay, I'm
me?
a
No,
little
I'm good.
guilty.
Like,
I'm guilty because I have had my male pokey on my hand before,
Same.
That's
but
wow,
pretty
wow.
impressive.
he's so sweet that you wouldn't even mind
Yeah,
if
you got. No, I would mind because
would
it's
you?
just, yeah, I would mind. Like you got, wow. I had a pokey run over two of my fingers. It's like this big, and I was like, wow, like they're quick. Like
Yeah,
I
they're
wasn't like
so
scared,
fast.
but like you can't move that fast. Like you and I can't move that. Yeah,
They
it's
teleport.
just like
Yeah, that's like my huntsman and my tiger wandering spider I have now. Like I want to put it in my hand so bad, but like at the same time I'm like, man, if you crawl up my head, I'm probably gonna fling you across the room because I'm
you wouldn't be able to react in time.
no,
It would just
she'd just
happen.
be all the way across
Yep.
the room.
Yeah. No. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah, like I haven't had a spider take off on me in a long time like that though. But when they do, they run.
So my question is like, how do you initiate that handling behavior with a spider? Like, because
Always.
I feel like they always want to eat when I'm like initiating contact. You know what I mean?
Right, and you don't want to put a spider on your hand that even acts like that the first time you test their temperament, because like that's what you want to do with every single spider to initiate that handling. First thing you're gonna do is see how they're feeling today. You're gonna, touch their legs with that paintbrush. If they turn around and bite it, don't put them in your hand. Give them some
Oh,
food.
so it's just like,
You
yeah,
want them.
okay,
You want them to just move away from you. No reaction at all.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I get
that's
you.
the kind of spider you're gonna want to pick up because that's the same way like my desert blonde and my curly hair act, and I'm sure that's how Ashley's acts because hers looks really calm
She's
too
the
on
most
my hand.
social. She's the most social out of all of them.
Yeah, like like my like even my desert blonde tarantula, like she'll tolerate getting on my hand, but she does not want to be on my hand. Like last time I put her
She's
on my
also
hand.
wild caught.
Right, but like last time I put her on my hand, she literally cleaned herself for like 2 hours after, like telling me I'm a dirty.
Damn, really? Whoa, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, she
Wow,
says
that's
that.
I've
crazy.
had that happen with snakes.
Yeah,
My
they clean
boa, anytime
themselves.
I would handle her, she'd be like, I gotta go in the water bowl, and she'd soak for like 2 days after. And I'm like, damn, all right.
Yeah,
Mm.
but that's how you just don't get bit though. It's just making sure you test that temperament. Don't mess with new old world, especially. I mean, yeah, there's ways to do it by getting them out of their house and stuff, but like, like I always say, one bad bite report is the end of our hobby, and the next,
Yeah.
we all gotta have license to keep tarantulas at our house, and it's gonna be so much more than it needs to be. But like, that's like another thing. Like why, they're not for everybody. Why exotic animals are not for everybody, especially if you have like, other pets in the home. Like I've had my dogs get urticating hairs in their eyes and had
Ooh.
their eyes swell up. Um, Obviously I was able to take care of it, but hold on, I gotta let my dog in here. You guys just hold on. Beanie, I hear
How
you
many
crying,
tarantulas do you guys have? For
oh,
The
this
least out of this
I
group.
have maybe
I have
30.
6.
I
Oh
have
yeah,
30.
I have maybe 30.
3
Yeah.
chihuahuas?
But no, I have 30 tarantulas. I only have one.
Oh, oh,
You can only tolerate one of these dogs at a time. They're so crazy, dude. She
Phil,
barks
how
at
many do you have?
everything.
I
What?
think I have 33.
Phil,
I'm
how
trying
many
to
do you
count
have?
right now. I think it's 33. I'm not sure.
Snakes or spiders?
Maybe. Spiders. Snakes. I downsized. Snakes. I think it's like 32 or 31 right now.
That's a
I
lot of
Nice.
had
snakes.
42 when I had my full clutch. I had 42, and 42. It was a lot. Like 60's a lot, dude.
Oh my
60's a
gosh.
lot. Straight up.
You guys
Like
have a lot of snakes, dude. You guys must have big houses, because I don't. I don't have a big house.
I have
Mm-mm.
one snake room. I got one snake room,
I got
and
a 2 bedroom. One room for me and the other room that's teeny tiny for
Yep.
everything else. The
Same.
living room has like a little bit,
Yeah.
but
I'm planning on getting a house
you had
this summer. I
100,
can't
dude.
wait. 100. Holy
That's
crap.
That's
What was
good.
that feeding
yeah.
bill like, man?
A
I
100.
know me having like 10, I'm like
Yeah.
struggling.
Let's talk about that, you guys, because people aren't really aware of like how much feeders cost.
Yeah.
Like, I just went to Tails and Scales the other day. I bought 100 small crickets and then I got 100 large, and it came out to a total of $25.
I wish.
Okay. Yeah, that's like
But
That's a
that's
good
like
day for me.
five.
That is a
That's low
bargain.
for
That's
spiders.
5 extra large rats. That's
Exactly.
like yeah.
Let's talk
That's
about
like
it.
Well,
Reptiles
I
are
mean,
expensive.
you're gonna be
yeah.
paying more feeders for reptiles than you are with your arachnids. That doesn't
Yeah,
really
me
Right.
seem
too.
too much. Yeah.
625. I'm probably around every probably 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
I'm dropping like probably $400. Maybe it
Yeah.
depends. It depends what I got going on. When I had hatchlings, I was spending more because I needed some live, and then I needed to uh, um, get certain sizes and stuff. But usually, I'll just buy in bulk. And then for all my colubrids, I really don't feed a ton of rodents. I feed a ton of organ meats and tilapia, like
Mhm.
stuff that I can get at the grocery store, like chicken hearts and chicken gizzards, I'm sorry, because um, chicken gizzards are and chicken hearts are super high in protein, low in fat. They're very, very nutritious for your snakes, and they're incredibly cheap. So I literally before I got on here, I was feeding my like some of my king snakes and my Nerodia, my water snakes and stuff, and my false water cobra and my Crebo, both my Crebos, and I was just giving him chicken hearts and tilapia that I got at the local grocer in the local Asian market.
That's good to know, because I have my king snake now too, so that's good to know to give her a variety.
But you
Literally,
guys are not gonna breed
it's
your own?
so easy. Well, that's a whole process. Like I've considered it, but that is like you got to have a day for rodents.
Ah,
So like with that, like depending on how many you have, and so like I would have to do rats. I would have to do rats. Like I got the big snake. Like I need the rat. You know what I mean? Mice wouldn't
Yeah.
cut it, so that's a lot of space. That's a lot of poop. That's feeders. Rats are wicked mean. Have you seen the teeth on those bastards? Like,
Yeah,
oh
they'll
my
eat each other.
god.
They'll
That's
kill
what
you.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my friend,
I'd
one of my friends has rats, and she said that like even like she had two brothers, and one of them like mauled the other brother, and she like fed it
yeah.
to her. She was like, "Screw you! Oh, you're just a meanie."
Yeah, the you have to like also, make sure your genetics are good too. Like you don't want to keep like inbreeding your rats, otherwise you're going to get like really messed up deformed rats. It's like an art. Like I don't want to say it's an art, but like breeding rodents is a legitimate science, and there's a way
Yeah,
to do it. And like I can't do that with work. I'd rather just pick up more patients to
yeah.
see. If you want me to be honest, I'll pick up more patients, get those done, just buy more rodents. That's so much easier because then they come in
I would get
bags. They don't shit because they're dead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I would get attached to them too. I mean, it's not like the crickets, you know, but I don't like what I struggle with. Do you guys feed live a lot? Like, how do you guys feel about feeding live?
It depends on the animal, but so I fed live to my hatchlings. I had 17 hatchlings, blood pythons, and that's how I got most of them started eating was on live. So I'd get live fuzzies, and like I don't know, the fuzzies were cute like the first and the second time, and then it was just like, all right, here you go. You know what I mean? I just stopped getting. They were just food at that point.
Right.
But other than that, I will not feed live because it's dangerous for the snake unless it's like, unless you had like some wild caught animal or ball pythons too. Like ball pythons are that's a totally different ball game. A ton of people feed live for ball pythons, but that's like low key its own like sect of the hobby of it because like that, yeah, like frozen thawed is just more convenient. Live is a legitimate thing. A lot of people do that for certain operations and certain species. I just don't.
Okay. What about you, Ashley? Do you feed live?
I used to with like my younger guys or even my corn
Yeah.
snake, depending on the size of the rodent. Obviously, anything larger than like what like I don't know what a hopper mouse is to you, but it's essentially like that big.
Right.
Um, anything larger, I'm like, no way. I've even had like a hopper mouse kind of like bite the one part of like my snake, and you got to pry it off and check it and all of that. Thank God it's never been like severe, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like not for it. I normally do frozen thawed,
Okay.
or um like fresh, like at the store they'll do it for me, or I'll end up
Yeah.
doing it if I'm
That-
working that night. Um, but like I don't really feed live anymore.
Okay. Yeah, because like when I get my rats too, I have them kill them for me at the store, and then because like I don't have the heart to do that. Because like when I like because I have this little baby snake now too, and I've been feeding her fuzzy or pinkies, but like the store sells them live, so I've been like having to
That's
give them
so
live.
awesome. Oh,
Well, yeah, they do.
wait,
Scales and
I'm
tails.
so
If you got
jealous.
one nearby. Dude, seriously, they're like the best. And they like I've been a customer of them for like over a year now, and they always give me a discount because like they just know I'm always spending money on there. So
Oh man,
it's
that
nice when
like
they
to
do
have
that though,
a
isn't it?
local, yeah, that's super nice. And it's like live, it's literally fresh rodents. Like you
Oh
go
yeah.
to this person, they always have what you need. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good consistent thing. You keep that contact warm because
Oh yeah, I do.
that's super important.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they'll buy some tarantula babies when I get some in stock. Because I already told them about it, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about my egg sack.
When was the last time? Well, when was it that she dropped?
It was like a week and a half ago.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
have.
like I literally fed her on Sunday or
No, I'm
Monday, and
sorry.
then it was Thursday or Friday because I do like 2 checks a week. And then I just like seemed like I thought she matured out male because her butt was so shrunken. And then I like took a closer look, and then there's the egg sac. But also bad news. My Poecilotheria female Diamond, she molted the other day, so I'll have to pair her.
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
It always
it's
looks
Damn.
okay.
like that.
It'd be like that. I know. That's just like the name of
Damn.
the game with the
Yep.
tarantulas. We just got lucky that we got, some fertile females that laid some sacks because, like I hear of like the mother tarantulas just like eating the egg sacs, and just like stuff like that. But it's definitely like
I've
not
had
like,
jumper spider mamas
have
before.
you?
They
Oh,
are
that's
very
cool.
good
That's super
mamas.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is
But
so
are they
cool.
tiny? Like, are they super,
Yeah.
super tiny?
That's
Like
the
that?
unfortunate
Yeah.
part. I did not get to make it that far. I was still very new to having that. I never bred them. They came to me pregnant and then decided to let me drop a sack or two,
Nice.
and I was like, cool. Um,
Yeah,
so
that
I had
happened.
to learn that sad story. A lot of them, passed away.
Yeah.
That's why I won't get into breeding. That's
Yeah.
a whole story.
Yeah. Yeah. It does get disheartening, especially
So
with breed.
Jen, you have balls of steel because that's a lot of work.
Oh, I don't have anything better to do than to, you know, help this little mama with her egg sac, honestly. I'm so excited. Because I have like such maternal instincts that like I literally saw that egg sac and I was like, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm just like, I can't wait to do like a maternity shoot with her and all of her babies together in the
Oh my
hole, and
god.
I'm like tearing up thinking about it. It's just
You're
so
gonna be a
beautiful.
grandma.
I'm gonna be a grandma. But
True.
yeah, and
When
like,
that happens, do you feed the eggs with legs in there,
No.
or do you no you pull them?
what?
Like, do you pull all those eggs with legs, or are you gonna leave them in there for a little bit? Like, how does that
I
work?
gotta ask. I gotta ask my breeder friend. We're only to like the step of we have the egg sac. Then I gotta get in
Yeah,
contact
I'm
with
there.
him.
No, that's where I'm at too. I'm in that
Yeah,
boat. Like,
yeah, cause like I there's just so many different ways to do it, and that's like why I love having like my close breeder friends is like. And like this was even like with my best friend Shayla, like when I got a snake, is like there's so many different opinions. Like I just want one way. Tell me one way to
yeah,
do it. Give me like the straight answer. I mean, but because they're all different species, they're and the breeders that have been breeding them, they just know what to do for each and every species.
mhm.
So I just, I believe whatever they're gonna say. So, but yeah, I'll definitely keep you updated on that, Phil. Cause like, I'm gonna be breeding my own tarantulas, not as like, for the money, but more for like, I have a passion for the tarantulas and I want captive bred babies available for people to purchase so that they don't feel the need to go out into the wild and collectively catch wild animals and bring them into the hobby and then destroy that part of the ecosystem, because when you take one animal it really makes a big difference to that area of where they were living. I mean, it affects the amount of babies that are going to be produced that year. It's going to affect how many are going to survive, all sorts of things, and that's why we
The
do.
butterfly effect.
Right. And I mean, look at the butterflies. I mean, if people didn't have butterfly like pavilions and places for those animals to thrive, we wouldn't even have the monarch butterfly right now. Like
I know
because
it's
we
crazy.
captively breed tarantulas in the hobby, like Poecilotheria metallica was an endangered species for a while. And because we breed them in captivity, we were able to save that entire species. And there's more in the hobby than there is in the wild. Like most of the animals that are in our hobby, the monitors, the tarantulas, the scorpions, there's more of them in captivity than there is in the wild because their homes are being destroyed. They have more challenges than
Yeah,
they
habitat
did
destruction.
100 years ago. We have cars now. They didn't have to deal with cars. The only thing that was
Yeah,
a
cars.
vehicle was horses, and they're natural,
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many more things that they have to fight for. I mean, like, even where I live in Colorado, like, they built this whole neighborhood on the side of the mountain, and we have tons of deer. And there's mountain lions, like literally in the neighborhoods. I've seen a 600-pound bear like 10 minutes down the road from my house. I swear to God. And that's literally just because like we moved into their neighborhood and they're not going to leave. Like that's like their native space. Like, if you live somewhere where
That's
there's
crazy.
rattlesnakes, you better expect there to be a freaking rattlesnake in your yard, because they don't know that that's your yard. They don't care. They're just trying to survive us in reality. But I do want to touch on like breeding animals in captivity, because it is super important. And yes, there is like things of overbreeding and such, but that's just something we consciously have to take into account when we go to decide what animals we're going to breed for ourselves. Like, so like the people that decided, oh, I want to breed ball pythons, like consciously did they think about, like, are there like 20 billion other people breeding ball pythons? Yes. Is the
Yes.
market super swamped? Yes. But they're, it's just conscious things, but you can't just tell everybody that, there's no captive bred, because then people are going to go, they're going to go to Colombia, they're going to steal animals from the wild, and then they're going to, bring them here illegally somehow, some way. People are still going to get these animals, but it's not going to be in the way of, oh, I'm going to go buy this tarantula from a breeder today, instead of, I'm going to go into the wild and steal this egg sac and hatch it in my house. There's just.
So you're very right. You're very right. What I will say is there is a lot of value in importing animals for fresh genetics. So if there are animals imported, it is important to take advantage of that, right? Because of those potential F1 genetics. I definitely would not have bought my cobalt blue had I known it was wild caught. I should have figured it out based on how large it was and how it was so cheap. I should have figured
So
it
they
out,
didn't
but I
tell
was
you
like,
at all? They didn't tell you at all?
what? No, I have
Really?
cash. Are
Oh
you
my gosh,
kidding
at
me?
least have the audacity to just say
No,
I
no,
wild
no,
caught
no.
this
They would
animal.
never.
See, that's the bull crap that I
No, it
don't
was
stand
it.
for.
Yeah. So like, what I also would have also had I known that, I would have also quarantined the tarantula as well, because it is possible that there are like flies or like different parasites with that can be like on
Yeah.
tarantulas. So I would have quarantined it, but I didn't know. But what I did is I rehomed it so the substrate was different, and I don't know. I looked at the spider and it looked visibly okay, while it was trying to kill me, and
Right.
I
Yeah, because
haven't
that's
seen it
cobalt
since.
blue.
Yeah,
But I do want to touch on what Mark said in the comments. But the thing is about wild caught imports, the importance of them is so that we can establish that captive bred species in the hobby. But
yeah,
like, if
yep,
they're already established, then like, why? That's my only point about that, is like the people that would want to continuously wild catch species just for the fact that the adults for spiders are much more, you can sell them for at a higher price than you can the slings, because they're
yeah,
bigger. And that's what, that temptation of, let's just go pick up a wild specimen out of the wild and sell it on a table. But then you have all of those bad cons of like, does that animal have bugs? Where did it come from? Is it gonna lay an egg sac? If you're somebody new into the hobby and you just bought your first spider and you bring it home and it lays an egg sac, you're probably gonna be like, what in the, like,
no,
what?
that's what happened. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was you. That was you, Phil.
that was literally me. That was me. I was like, hey guys, this happened.
Yeah, what the heck do I do with a freaking egg sac, man? Or like, or Ashley, like, you're just some person, you think this little spider's cute. Oh, it's so cute. And then, bam, lays an egg sac, and then they're like, I gotta get rid of it.
And
Because I'm
that
gonna
is
have.
why I got them from the store that I was working at. They get their animals from an animal distributor that I won't name names, not a good one.
Oh,
But and they were overpricing jumper spiders for like I don't know, like 60,
that's.
70 bucks, and I can get a jumper for like 20 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I also worked for PetSmart too, so don't be ashamed.
not PetSmart, not PetSmart. This is a reptile store, like family owned one. They go to something around here.
So,
Can
yeah.
I answer
But
Chris's question?
Well, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
He said, how important are genetics for spiders? So they're very important, especially if you know about the Sydney funnel web in Australia. So what they're doing with that, with their new species, or same genus, different species, they have found a lot of potential for medical research, not just anti-venom, but they also found uh, I know there is a cure for cancer. It's just, stuff. But so they're finding interesting potential medical research from the venom of the Sydney funnel web. And a lot of people say, how is that possible? Because it's the most venomous spider in the world. But the same thing goes for tarantulas. We have the Poecilotheria and we have the OBT or the HMAC, where people say that's the most venomous. But because we're doing this in the hobby, that we're putting them through these captive breeding, we have potential of not overbreeding, but we have the potential to extract their old genetics through the new genetics with each time they breed. So if you can find someone who has that connection to go to like Australia, whatever, then you can help with that project. Like I don't know if you know Linda Rayner. She does all huntsman spiders, and she's an entomologist. So it's really good that we're doing this in the hobby, that we're captive breeding, because that's going to save a lot of people in the future.
Yeah, yeah, but also with like keeping genetics pure with tarantulas is extremely important. Like it's not
Yes,
like
don't make hybrids. Oh my god,
yeah,
please.
like
Oh my.
like this goes for jumping spiders, all true spiders.
Yes.
Tarantulas, do not crossbreed them. It is highly frowned upon by
No,
any
don't do
breeder.
that.
I have people that will ask me, well, can I cross my jumpers? I've heard it's okay. But I tell them no, and then they're still like, what? Somebody said so. No, don't do it. It's very frowned upon. Keep the genetics and all of that pure. Especially with the tarantulas, like they don't crossbreed naturally. Like I don't
It
even
depends if
know
there's
what would
overlapping
happen.
ranges, though.
What?
Like, what if there? Like, my thought is like if there's like similar same genus in a similar area, like there's what about natural hybridization, like sometimes king snake, like California king snakes and a desert king snake will hybridize, right, naturally, because their ranges overlap, right?
Right,
Or
right.
like coastal jungle, maybe for carpet. I don't know carpet pythons, but hybrids do exist. I know with box turtles, ornate box turtles can hybridize with the three-toed box turtles. So like it can occur naturally. I just like, so me personally, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I would never hybridize animals, right? Yucky. But if you are gonna do it, just at least tell the person that you're selling it to or giving it to, be like, hey, listen, this is actually this. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Or keep it to yourself. Like in the 90s, the for the tarantulas, there was two hybrids that was widely spread, and that was the Aphonopelma Johnny Cashi, and then the Brachypelma genus. So the Brachypelma bomi and the Brachypelma baumgartneri, those two look identical. So a lot of people thought, yeah, they're the same. No, they're not. They were hybridized. So if you have a Brachypelma bomi right now, really, really do your research to check if that's really what you have. Same thing with the Brachypelma homori. You can either have a homori or a smithy.
Yeah. Yeah, but like Phil,
Or a hybrid.
but
Yeah.
Phil, like the hybridization for tarantulas has happened in captivity so far. But
That's
not
true.
in the wild.
Yeah.
It's only happened in
Yeah.
captivity.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, I guess it could happen, but
Now, would you say that's intentional, or would you? I would say that's
oh,
more
you
so for misidentification,
Both.
because a lot of these, but
well,
yeah, both. Yeah. Okay.
well,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because tarantulas are really hard to like tell apart. Like like me and Kat have personally like gotten our little rescue tarantulas from like our chain pet stores that we saw and we just couldn't leave them there. Like I've rescued two of them personally. I paid that full price for them. And like I ended up with like Bonatina monax and a Tillicotyle callumbergi, under both the same labels of assorted brown tarantulas. Like that's literally what they'll call them.
Oh,
They'll price them at like $150, $100, something crazy. But like you bring
That's
them home and
overpriced.
you don't even know what you have. Like
Wow.
seriously.
those aren't like the most common like what you just named. Like those
Mhm.
aren't super common species that you just
No,
like find.
no,
Like
right,
those
right.
are,
Because
yeah.
we were talking about that when I got my Tillicotyle callumbergi, right? Because
Hmm.
like I was trying to figure out what she was because I thought she was Voggins. I thought my first tarantula was a Voggins, but both of them were not Voggins.
No.
That's crazy.
Mexican black tarantula. That's the Mexican red rump, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Mexican red rump.
I don't know. All the common names blend together now.
I
Yeah,
hate common
that's
names.
why we use the scientific names because there's just it gets really confusing. Like one time I thought my
Make it easier for me to say then.
well, you can say it however you want because like people say
I
it
just
different all the
got
time.
Granistola pulchra down. I just got, what is it? Posiliaria. I'm not, no, I'm done.
Post.
I am butchering this.
I know it is
Give me
quite
my
a
common
mouthful.
names.
I should teach a class.
Cat, you
I'll
should.
join a cat.
No, I was the same way when I first started years ago, but I feel like once like over the years you hear it repetitive what is it? Repetitively?
Repetitively?
That
Repetitively.
yes. So if you hear it like often, then
Yeah.
it'll stick with you and over the years you'll be like catching it on like that.
Yeah, watch Richard, Tarantula Collective. You listen to him all day, you'll know all the scientific names by the end of the month.
No, you gotta let Dave's little beasties.
Dude, I
That's
love Dave. He's so
the
cute.
goat. Dude, Dave is the
All
goat.
right, that's
Like,
my goal. That's my goal for this year is I'm gonna watch all of these tarantula creators and then be able to tell you guys scientific
I'm
like,
waiting.
names.
I'm telling you, like you put on a little bit of Dave's little beasties before bed, like he knows what's
In
up.
my
I'm telling you.
subconscious, I'll know it.
Yeah, yeah. You just like watch. Oh, it's good stuff. It's
Yeah.
great. He's really well informed.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is, and he tells it straight to you. No sugar.
Yeah. Oh no,
I love people like that.
no nothing there. This is what it is, and this is how it is.
The crazy thing is he's so calm, especially like the times that I've seen him take his wandering spiders out, and they've like teleported across the room. I'm getting shivers thinking about it, and like he's literally like, "Oh, just wait until it calms down," and I'm
They're
like,
quick. Yeah. No,
freaking
Dave's got some balls.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He definitely he's putting his hands in the tanks with the old worlds. He's
Mhm.
like, yeah, let me just grab this bark and then like I'll position her for the camera. Like, dude, I don't have my hands anywhere near my spiders when I'm doing anything.
There are some of my spiders, like my Poecilotheria regalis male, like I can take him out with this cork bark, like with him on the cork bark, and he doesn't.
And then he'll shrink. Will he shrink up
Yeah,
and
he'll
just try to
shrink
hide?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll just.
Yeah.
You can't see me. I literally have pictures. I'll send you them later. Like I literally have to just do it back. And he looks so purple, and like he just.
These are predictable.
Yeah, very predictable. Some of them are just like that though, and especially like once they mature out, because like the males they don't molt after they've matured. So once they get that embla, they're not going to molt again. They really start to chill out over time.
Now, I feel like sometimes the mature males can be a little neurotic and they're constantly like just like obviously looking for females, but a lot of times when people are pairing is when they'll get a bite or when they'll get one run up them.
Oh yeah,
like run up their arm. You know what I mean? Because it's a male fleeing like for his life.
Yeah, they still move pretty fast.
Oh, they can boogie. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Like my male pumpkin patch, he's literally jumped out of his enclosure just because
I want a pumpkin patch.
But beware, they are super
Whoa, that's
sketch.
bold.
They will literally jump out of the enclosure. Like I had my male do that. I'm like, holy Jesus. It's not that serious,
As you
babe.
go.
Get back in there.
I was going to answer a question from Masked Bandit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What are, hold on. What are your favorite tarantulas in the hobby?
I love that question.
Who's going first?
All right. So far, I'm going to say Bobby, my Gramistola pulchra.
That's a good one. That's your favorite.
But my other question we were talking about earlier, Kat, I think I might do an old world. So maybe my new favorite tarantula might change later.
Mm.
Are you gonna get an old
So-
world?
You should.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
From
They're
the
good
list
for
that I
you.
gave you, or
No, I'm still thinking about getting an OBT. That
Oh
keeps coming
yeah, they're
across my
so
head.
cool. They're
Okay.
so
And
cool. That was my
I
second
have
spider.
babysat a friend. That one was kind of fun because I was like, if this motherfucker gets out, I swear to God. So I'm like lifting the lid and I'm misting them and I'm close it real quick.
do you like heavy webbing?
Yeah, they do that.
That's my other thing too. Is like I do kind of want the regalis because when I was talking to Rob from Nerd, we were talking about the Poecilieras, the
Pulsar area?
pokies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pokies.
the
Yeah.
difference between whether I want a Metallica, because that was my first one that I really wanted, or do I get the Regalis? And he explained, well, the Metallicas usually are more, they're shy, so you won't see them as much, whereas like the Regalis, they're a little bit more bold.
They're still really
So,
high too.
They're still, yeah,
You
pokies are
might not
super
see
are
shy.
they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
seriously.
big time. Big
Yeah,
time.
they're
Yeah.
very
Big time.
big babies. Big,
Yeah.
big.
So just
Super big
old
babies.
world, I'm never gonna see essentially.
No, you'll
Well,
still see them.
well, it
No, it really
depends.
depends. It really depends on the spider, for
Yeah,
sure.
I know. It's like we're giving you all these like contradicting answers. Like my
And then I was
regalis,
like,
they'll
fuck it, I'm just gonna get a velvet spider.
no, get an OBT. Like my
Yeah.
OBT was my second spider ever. She matured out female. She's like probably this big
I hear a
now.
lot of good
She's
things
like
about
she literally
OBTs.
looks like
That's why.
oh, they're so like listen, you give them space, like you just give them space and give them anchors to web and like when you rehome that animal, like you just be careful. Like that's
Oh,
all. You're
oh.
just literally the most careful you've ever been.
No,
That's literally all it is.
But actually, I will tell you, they are really hard to rehouse because they do.
They can be pissy. They can be pissy for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
they can be like that, and the other, they can just run around. Like mine, I just made a video. You guys are about to see it tomorrow, or not tomorrow, very soon, next couple days. I made a video of rehousing my OBT. Guys, she did laps for 20 minutes. It took me like 30 minutes
Yeah.
to rehouse her because she like literally, I got her in there, and then as soon as I went to take the bowl out, she ran up the lid and like ran out the other side and was zoom, oh zoom. I'm serious.
Yeah.
But I mean, she
You're
didn't
not
threat pose
convincing
me. She didn't slap at me the entire time she was out, but like she still did some freaking laps, man. And I was in
See,
here like,
all I get are the slaps. Yeah,
She
I
still
just get the
slaps.
slaps. I don't get no laps.
She still slaps at me from like the inside of her enclosure, but like as soon as I get her out of her burrow or whatever hide she's in, she's like, oh, I'm not scary anymore. Please don't hurt me.
Okay,
You know?
if you want heavy Weber old world, here's one: the blue baboon, Monosumptorphus balfouri.
Oh yeah.
They do
They make really
extreme.
cool full ones.
Yeah,
I never
so they
see
do
mine.
heavy Webers.
I never
Wait,
see
there he
I
mine.
is.
never seen mine either.
Yeah, it's webbing is everywhere. I think I've seen it
Right there.
twice.
See him right there?
I think,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, I see him.
I
And then
also have been interested in like Balfouri.
that's the
They're
one.
cool. You just won't see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're
And you can
communal.
keep them in communals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were
Start with
Don't
one
do that.
for
Don't
now.
do that.
Yeah, don't do the
No,
Yeah,
I'm not
yep,
doing that right
yep.
now.
Oh, okay.
Good talk. Good cat. Good.
Mhm.
Yep.
No, but to scare you
One at a
guys some
time.
even more, I almost got a feather leg baboon one day. And I
Oh,
was like,
those are
No.
wicked fast.
Let me
Those
tell
are
you
wicked
something.
fast.
Let
I
me
was
tell you
like,
something.
girl, I will get it, but you gotta sell me the enclosure that it's in.
Yeah, I've
Because he
heard
got
of.
dropped off from the breeder himself, and he was like, I do not want to keep this one because of his temperament. He is the
Yeah,
worst one.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
I heard of somebody getting their HMAC jumped, like it jumped and wrapped its legs around his face and sat there until like it moved away. Literally, cause like if you get close to a tarantula and like you breathe on them, they're gonna feel that air.
Yeah.
Like they're either gonna think
Right.
it's like a butterfly wing,
You're gonna freak out.
flapping or something. They're gonna respond to it and jump. Like I've literally had my AVIC almost grab my hand on accident because I literally like went to go in there and reach for some food and she thought it was like prey and she like went and jumped but she caught herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they can easily mistake you for prey because they just can't see that well. Now they can see like hues of blue, but other than that, they're pretty blind, man.
Yeah.
They're
It's
just
all
guessing.
feeling. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all
or
feel.
their hairs, all the, like those really
Yeah.
long hairs. That's how they can feel the wind or any disruptance
Yeah.
like around
Mhm.
them.
Yeah. My
Mhm.
He was a
Simani
really
slapped
good
me too.
hider, though, when I almost bought him. He like blended in with the background, with the wood. I'm
Yeah.
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm
They're
staring
like
right at you. Hi.
I had a huntsman spider that did that. Like you could not see her on that bark. Like I'd be looking for her. Where are you?
They
Oh,
blend. Mhm.
she's right there, hanging out, staring at me. Hey, sure. I'm looking for
So,
you.
but sometimes the old worlds are predictable, like with the pokies. What I will say is I genuinely find rehousing my old worlds is easier than my new worlds.
What?
Because
Really?
yes.
Oh, Cat
Because
gotta
all
jump
my
in
new
here.
worlds
What?
are gonna kick hair. They're
Oh, okay.
all wicked temperamental, right? They're all trying to kick hairs at me. All my Acanthoscuria are trying to eat me. So you have to like fight them off with a spoon.
Yeah.
And then once they
Sometimes I just
realize,
blow on them.
yeah, see, you're gonna get like like the hairs though, like
Yeah, yeah, that is the
oh
bad part about the new worlds,
yeah,
man. Especially like if
yeah,
like
I'm good.
the big bird eaters, they have like urticating hairs that will give you rashes, which is why I don't have a T sturmy in my house yet, because I don't have
I'm
a
gonna get one.
like when I get a house that has a basement or a separate room, obviously then I can get it. But like because my dogs already get freaking hairs in their eyes, like with this, I'm just like, I don't want to do that yet. But I so want one, dude.
It's worth it.
I want
They're
a
so
freaking
cool. They're so cool.
mammoth spider in my house that freaking freaks people out.
Mhm.
They
Don't come
had
in here.
they had some wild caught adults when I was at the show, which like were near the one, were near the spider I got, and they were
Wow.
huge. Like just seeing that animal is so impressive. Like
Oh, dude, I swear that they had like 4 of them. I've seen 4 of them within like the past 2 shows. There's like a lot of them. I was almost wondering if they were wild caught too.
Mhm.
if
But they're
you,
so big.
it depends on the number. Like
What?
I looking back, like those spiders were way too cheap to not be wild caught.
Right.
In my opinion, based on
Yeah,
what
there's
like
always
a
signs.
sling costs. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they look like they don't look 100%.
No, they look kind of like rugged, like they'd been out in the wild for a while. Oh,
I think he froze.
Expected the crap out of
Okay.
it. Uh-oh.
uh-oh. So you're back.
Uh-oh. Am I back?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Oh,
now.
I said the lividus I got was so clean. Like I inspected the crap out of her before I bought her, and she was like, she looked great. So I was like, oh, maybe this isn't a wild. Like, I don't know, man. I tried so hard, and it just happened. Like,
Yeah. But shame on them for not telling you, seriously. Like, if you're
Yeah.
gonna sell wild caught animals at an expo, you might as well let people know it's wild caught and
Yep.
like because like that there's a whole room of healthy animals in there and something for God forbid were to happen, like that could destroy somebody's whole collection. It's so irresponsible to
yeah,
me to like do that to people and not say anything because you're putting the animal at risk and then you're putting the people at risk. And
Yeah.
so like then there's no win-win and then we have like those horrible awful stories that taint our hobby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
It's
I
just
got
so
lucky that she's
irresponsible.
healthy.
You know, it's like selling somebody an animal that has like a disease that's about to like spread to the rest of their animals. No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Unless you want to
Yeah.
get hit with the shoe. Don't do that.
With the chancla.
Yeah, with my shoe. Oh yeah,
In Filipino, we say chinyale.
Geniale. I didn't know you were Filipino.
And
What,
next,
what are we, guys? Okay, I'll go first. I'm Native American, Polish, German, and Italian.
wow.
Yeah, I'm mostly European.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
where you
just
get the
Italian.
exoticness.
I guess so. Definitely where I get my blue eyes from. Those Germans.
Ah.
Yeah, and that dark hair comes from the Italians. What? You saw what, Chris? What did you see? I don't know where that would have been posted. I didn't post my ethnic cards anywhere, no. What else you guys want to talk about? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Ashley.
I'm just
She's like,
here.
oh, I thought Ashley was doing this. Like,
I don't know.
What? What's happening? I don't even know what's happening.
I thought we were guessing each other's ethnicities.
Oh no, you guys are just supposed to say it. I don't want to guess.
Oh. Well, y'all know. Y'all already know.
Question here. Mass Bandit had a good question. Why does Yeah,
Primo?
depends on the species, man.
oh,
Yeah, Primo
You-
can take forever depending on the species. Like your
Like
age,
years.
mm-hmm.
yeah, like your Aphonopelmas and your Brachypelmas are gonna take the longest to molt compared to like, you know, your OBTs, your Pokies. Pokies go pretty fast. And it also depends on like
Asian species.
their environment too. Now I have noticed like sometimes like if your humidity or your temps aren't right, like your tarantula will prolong their molt until like that gets fixed or whatever. Cause like for example, like my Brachypelma baymay, my Mexican fireleg, like it's a very arid species, but when I was keeping it in a tarantula cribs and it was at a higher humidity, like she didn't molt for 6 months straight. And then after I changed her to a critter keeper, she molted more consistently and more often. So that's what, like my only thing. Like sometimes I just think like, you know, maybe like our temps are off or something and that leads to a prolonged molt.
I don't know.
Or you know,
I have an adult curly hair. She's molted maybe once for me. But that's about it. She's only given me maybe that maybe two molts.
Yeah, but that sounds regular.
But she lied.
Sounds normal.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah,
Like
she's
that
big.
big.
Yeah.
So scientifically, I can answer that question, what Mass Bandit had asked. So in my studies, there were, of course, there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of variables. But in my studies, I saw that what I've written down, like the most common ones were when they're in their first instar, they could either have a good molt or a bad molt. So a first instar is their first molt when they're like eggs with legs. And if they have their first molt, if it's really bad, throughout their lifetime, they're gonna have bad molts or they're gonna take forever. The second one was depending on the species, they could live between 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So for example, in a Faunopelma, they live up to like 30 plus years. So they are going to stretch that molt process for a long time because they are going to live a long time. And the third one was, dang, I forgot. But what was I going to say after that? I forgot. But those were the, you know, the most main reasons.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Cap, for sharing that to help mask out with that question. you know, if it's been that long, maybe they already matured, but who knows? Because I don't really personally know a lot about widows. I had a widow, but she passed away.
Spiders are
Like,
weird.
they're fickle, like the
Yeah,
frogs, you know? Like Pac-Man frogs are
yeah.
super fickle to keep. I don't recommend anybody keep them. There are people that literally like
I
do
have
well
one.
with
I love
them,
it.
but I've had people just like, you know, like it dies on them, and I feel bad that I even told them to keep one. Because they're like, yeah, I just got this frog, and then it dies, and I'm like,
Ah.
that wasn't me. I didn't tell you.
They're really sensitive.
They are,
The frogs are really sensitive. Yeah.
yeah, like, you know, like they're like they absorb everything through their skin, and so like they're really prone to like getting like skin issues and all that stuff. But one last question for you guys. What's your guys' personal favorite animal to keep? Like out of all of your animals, what's your personal favorite? Give you guys a few minutes.
Phil, he's looking around.
I really, I really like, I really like the Caribos. I really like my Drymarchon.
What's
I
your
really
favorite
like the
thing
short
about
tails too, but like, they're so active, so active. He's always up there. I have him in a 6 foot cage, a 6 by 2 by 2. So he's always up there, just like
Oh wow.
scheming, doing his thing, like
Scheming.
noodling around. And he's pushing like probably 70 right now, and he's just so docile. He eats anything. Shed's great. Like just a super cool animal.
Yeah, and
And
that
then
is
I,
like
I
go ahead, sorry.
I got another one. I got a female too. So probably in like 4 or 5 years, I'm hoping to pair them and see how that process goes.
That would be fun. That would be cool to see.
It would be.
Yeah. Ashley, Kat, you want to go? You guys ready?
Okay.
Y'all already know the answer.
The short tails.
It's the short tails. I do need to upgrade her because she's moving her house and rearranging everything.
Oh my
Can you guys
gosh.
see? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I can keep moving her hide back, but she keeps moving, rearranging it for me. So yeah, I definitely need to stretch the enclosure out a little bit. Or I'd have to say either my Central American boa or spiders. They're just so easy to keep. Don't
Yeah.
gotta think about them. Water them.
Yeah. You
Water them.
have to
Give
have
them a
all that.
cricket or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kat,
For,
did you want to go?
yeah, for me, no brainer, a tarantula. But I do love anything that's creepy. So, oh my goodness, Ashley,
Ashley.
are you okay?
Ashley, down.
You dropped this.
Yeah, she dropped her.
She's good.
Yes.
She's good. Okay. So yeah, I do love anything that's creepy. So I would love to keep any animal that's creepy, especially any animal that has a horn on it. But my favorite is centipedes. I love centipedes.
That's awesome. Yeah, centipedes are cool.
Oh no,
What's your
Phil
Phil!
left.
Phil
Oh
left?
no,
Oh
Maybe his
no.
phone died or laptop died. No, Phil!
something.
Oh no. Who knows? So I'll go. Dang, I really have to say I'm like between my tarantulas and my crested geckos. Cause like that I just freaking love my geckos. Like they are so interactive with me and just
Here,
like
let me show you. I got some.
so derpy looking when they look at you. Just
Yeah.
I just love them, and they're just such a joy to keep, and they're really low maintenance for a reptile per se. I mean, like all my enclosures are bioactive, and that's like another favorite part of mine with my geckos is like all of like the green stuff that I get to put in their enclosures and all the decor. Oh, look at him! He jumped on the camera.
Wait. This is Honey.
Aw, so
She's chunky.
cute. What a pretty baby. Mine are
I
always
can't find
jumping.
her sister. And then I have their boyfriend holding my phone up.
What? Is he on the
On the
phone?
My
phone?
her boyfriend's enclosures holding my
Oh.
phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how I do my podcast.
Oh, that's hey. Gotta do it somehow, right? I don't know if Phil's gonna come back. I almost hope that he does.
Are corn snakes cool for a beginner? I'll answer this one.
Okay.
Yes.
I love mine, baby.
Yes, because they're hardier snakes, lower humidity, great eaters.
All right, perfect.
Yay!
Yes, he's
Yay,
that
Miss Phil. Phil, we missed you. You just disappeared.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know. My AirPods disconnected, and then I left the thing, and I was like, "What the
It
heck?"
happened. It's
Mm.
happened to me
So
before.
yeah, what are you gonna do?
Nothing. Just wait until you come back. I was like, hopefully he comes
Yeah, it is what
back
it is.
so we can close it
I'm
out.
alive. I promise. Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about today? Anybody in the comments have any more questions for us? Anything you guys want to say? Last words? Okay.
Did you get that, Mass? Because corn snakes are great for beginners.
Our corn snakes are cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, corn
they
snakes
are.
are cool.
They're cool.
Get a
And they
garter
stay
snake.
smaller.
Garter snakes are the coolest.
The gardeners.
Garter snakes are awesome. I have a blue one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
really want to
do?
get like
Oh my God, I've seen that.
the California guys that are like blue and red.
There's some really.
Yeah, those ones are cool.
I'll probably end up seeing them tomorrow at Tinley.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
you're
going
sure?
tomorrow?
super easy
Tinley
to keep.
tomorrow?
It's
There we
tomorrow.
go.
The
So if you guys are obviously you guys aren't going, but to my audience that may be going, I am doing a vendor setup. I'm helping my friend out, Jess from House of Spood.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I will be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, helping my girl out, sell some jumpers
Come
and
say
her
hi to
setup.
Ashley. That's awesome.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
so cool you get to work with her. Oh my gosh, we ended up having her on the podcast too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I swear I've seen her too. I think I seen her last year at one of the shows out here.
Usually gives me like jumper advice.
Yeah,
Like
no,
when I had those sacks, I was like, I don't know when I should separate these, and she helped me. At the end of the day, though, it didn't work out.
that's
I want to meet her.
But I will be coming home with some jumpers from her. That's
Good.
really why I wanted to go to Tinley, and then we talked, and it just so happened she needed a worker, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll
Good.
do it.
Yeah.
Get an
Perfect.
OBT.
Perfect.
And yes, tight budget, but I'm gonna see if I can get an OBT.
Get 2 OBTs.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get a
Yeah.
boy out, we'll just buy them from you if you don't want them.
Yeah.
Because like this
Yeah, no,
girl
if
might
you get
need
a boy,
male,
let me know,
so-
because I have a female.
No, let me know first.
I'm gonna end up walking away with a
You
velvet.
just tell one
for
of us.
Chris.
You just tell someone.
I know, I'm just playing with you, Phil.
Oh, they're so cool too.
Yeah, they are. They're cool, but oh my gosh, I've actually seen somebody get bitten by one though.
A what?
An OBT.
Really?
Like there's a video on YouTube. It's a YouTube short. This guy had an OBT and a critter keeper, and he takes his finger and he's
Yeah,
poking at
Coyote
it.
Peterson. He's the worst.
And then,
Yeah.
was it Coyote? I don't know, but
No, there's two videos. Yeah.
The OBT came out and it bit him so hard he's just like just screaming in pain. I'm like, what did you think
It was a
gonna
good size
happen?
one too.
Yeah, it was like the one that's like my size. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that's a good.
There are the ones though, like, you know, like for like the people that do like those channels that like are like, watch me get bit by something. Like, don't pick the desert blonde. Just go straight to the OBT because they will bite. Because like you always see them like picking up the desert blondes and they're just like tapping them, and I'm like, stop pulling it. It's not gonna bite you. Where the OBT is just
That's
ready
so
to just
ridiculous.
freaking chew
I
on
hate when
me.
people use those just for like to make videos. Like,
Oh, and they do. They glamorize like the defensiveness. That's why like I literally when I just made like this recent video of like rehousing my OBT, I was like, you guys usually see them like, you know, threatening, stomping, venom dripping, fangs exposed, but literally like my video just shows like how docile they really are because mine literally did not stomp at me or threat pose me the entire time I was rehousing her.
mm-hmm.
Like all she did was run away.
Wow.
She was like, "Oh, get away from me!" But like, I mean, when I have before like sprayed
they just
water
want
in
to hide.
there, she
Yeah.
will stomp at me. But other than that, when she's exposed, she's like, "I'm just gonna pretend like I'm not here. You guys don't see."
And it's not just OBTs or old worlds. Some new worlds can slap at you. Like today, when I was rehousing my Samani, she was calm and everything, and out of nowhere, she just ran up and slapped my finger. And I'm like, okay, miss, attitude.
Yeah,
Damn.
dude, mine are vicious. Mine are like down for business. Like especially Ozark right here next to me. Every time like I've ever put anything near that one, it's always bitten the tongs, bitten the
Yeah.
stick, freaking slapping at me. Like
Yeah.
the one day
we got
that
like that.
yeah, like for that pinch grab video, for anybody that was wondering why I even filmed that, like, cause, one of my breeder friends, you know, I was trying to see if the tarantula that I had that he was like, oh, is it a female that he wanted? You know, I was gonna check to see if it was male or female. Like, what he asked me to do was just send a video of the ventral side, so that's how I ended up, you know, doing that pinch grab video. But yeah, like all of them were like vicious to begin with. They were like, get out of my house, slapping at me, biting at me.
Yeah, they'll let you know for sure.
Yeah, the new world, like, and that's why I tell people just because like somebody said that they're calm and docile and that they're not going to do those things at you, they still will, and they can still run if they want to. They can still, you know, do all these things that, you know, people say they don't do, but they do.
I like what Mask Bandit said. He said that they make a noise, tritillation. What is it?
Yeah.
Tritillation? Yeah.
Stridulation.
So, yeah, that. So it's their chelicerae. They rub their chelicerae, their fangs together, and it makes that hissing sound.
Yeah, I've heard
Wow.
my OBT do it. She's
Yeah.
done it to me. She's stridulated her fangs at me once.
Yeah.
That's
So
like, actually super cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. So yeah, they just and it sounds like a hissing noise. It is so crazy when they do it too. It's cool.
Huh.
Old worlds do it too with their back legs.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know the H. pachypus?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So if you notice, some tarantulas that have like big furry legs, like in the back of their legs, like the Megaphobema robustum, H. pachypus, and I forgot the other one, but usually with those hairs that they like, the ones that you see that have big hairs, or like I always say the big parachute pants legs, they would rub their back legs and it would make a sound.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
like a cricket. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just seen my Amazon Blue Bloom, my Xanthus intermedia. The way she kicked her hairs at me the other day, she was crossing her legs. It was like,
whoa.
It was like she was. You guys will see in the video. It is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, but dang, those hairs were so bad.
Yeah, they're
Like,
super itchy.
I literally got them in my mouth. Like I'm literally talking, and then I'm like, that's how I knew I got them in my mouth. 'Cause I start coughing. I'm like, I'm gonna be crying later.
Did you guys know
What do you guys
that
think
there's
about sun
levels?
tigers? Oh, go ahead, Kat.
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah, so there's different levels of eradicating hairs from 1 to 5. Some say 1 to 6, but it's 1 to 5. And now that you brought that up, Ashley, the Samopaeus armenia, the Venezuelan sun tiger, freaking common names, man. So they don't have eradicating hairs, but they do have a more potent venom.
And they're crazy. They're wild, man. Have you seen mine when I water her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what to expect. Like she comes, but let me tell you something. They're like one of those spiders that like you have, and they will show you a side of themselves that nobody else gets to see. Like I've literally been playing music in my house, like full blast, not so loud that it's gonna scare the animals, but like, she hears the music. She literally has come out of her burrow and just like webbed and danced at the same time, just do do do
She
do
bopping.
do.
She bopping the
Yeah, she
Glorilla
was
with
bopping
you.
to the music, man. She was like, "Oh, this is
Yeah.
cool." She'll come walking out, go for a little stroll. Sometimes, like when she was right next to my doorway, I would be vacuuming, and that air from the vacuum would go straight up, and she'd come straight out of her burrow, like, "Whoa, let's fight this air. Where is it? Where is it? Whoa!" She's crazy. Yeah,
Wow,
they are a little
that is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a spaz, but she's always out. Yeah, she's over there. I wish I could show you because as soon as I go to pick her up, she's just gonna run. But she's got her legs
Yeah.
out right now. But they do disappear for a period of time, like especially before and after a molt. Like you won't
Yeah.
see them
Mhm.
for a
Mhm.
few weeks. It just depends on the spider. But then they'll be right back out again. But they usually don't leave their burrow. Mine only comes out every once in a while to go for a stroll.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
usually if she's thirsty.
I would agree.
Mature males do
Or
that.
hungry.
Yeah, because Phil was going to send me his mature male to breed with my female.
He
Well,
passed.
what do we name him? What do we name
Arlo.
him?
Arlo.
Arlo. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Rest in peace, Arlo. We didn't even know
Yeah.
what happened. So listen to this, Cat. Wait. Cat already knows.
Yeah.
But
No, she already knows. I told her. Like he just
I want to
rolled on
know.
me.
Phil,
I'm the
tell your
third wheel
story.
party.
Yeah. Yeah, Phil.
Dude,
Tell
I got
us
this sun
about it.
tiger and I was like, shit, this sun tiger is so cool. Like I should buy it. And I bought it and I brought it home and it was so cool and it was a machine and it molted and it matured as a male. And I was like I hit up Kat and I was like, Kat, like, do you need this male? And like I don't want to just have him here. Like he needs to pay rent somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just gonna have him wander around lonely forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, this girl Jen has this female sun tiger." So then she made a group chat. She was like, "Hey, listen, this happened. I was supposed to send him to you. 4 days later, I find him curled up in the corner, in the fetal position, just sucking wind." And
No.
poor guy. I don't know if he rolled an ankle or what, but he was not.
And the springtails were eating them, you
Yeah, it was
guys.
not. The springtails were eating him. His fangs weren't even black yet. He had just molted.
He's like,
Like
I'm
he
like,
was. Oh, it was bad.
yeah, because I was telling Phil, I was like, oh, no, I'm sure he's fine. And then he's like, sends me a video of the springtails just like eating the spider.
Devouring.
I'm like, oh, it's definitely done. It's over with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still don't know what could have been the reason. I mean, maybe just like the bad molt. Maybe like something got ripped.
Old age.
But like it just matured
his
out.
his body didn't
Oh, that's
rip
right.
though. Like he didn't have any like he didn't have like sometimes the skeleton can get torn. He didn't have that. Like his fangs were still pink. More than half of the fang was still
Yeah,
pink.
he was still
So
dry.
he was
Like he
still
was still
hardening
dry.
up. Yeah. So like I don't know what happened, but he was doing fine. Like he molted. He hid for a couple days. He was walking around. I was like, all
Yeah,
right,
he
this
was
is a
walking.
dude. So he was wandering super hard, and I was like, he's wandering super hard. Could have been something internal, Liz. That's a good call. Could have been. Could have been.
Yeah.
We'll never
You
know.
won't see.
Yeah.
No.
That kind of
Or-
reminds me of when I had my tailless whip scorpion have a friend. And they were doing good for a couple months. And then I went in there and I was like, the springtails were eating them. There was like nothing left essentially. And I was like, what
that's when
happened?
you know.
Were
Right.
you hungry? Was this a female that wasn't happy with her partner? Like, what happens? You guys are supposed to be communal.
Oh yeah, those communals they end brutal sometimes. That's why I personally haven't had a communal. like number one, I just couldn't imagine the stress of like trying to rehouse like multiple tarantulas at a time. But like also like they do cannibalize, even though they are communal, like they will still eat each
That
other.
makes sense.
Time
Yeah.
to
I mean,
time.
it's still an arachnid. It's still gonna
Do its
do what
thing.
they do.
Yeah, because like they'll go off and make their own burrow, but like as soon as like another one comes into that territory, I've just cannibalism still
Mhm.
happens.
And you can also tell by like a smell. Like right now, when I was gonna get one of my OBTs, this is one of my OBTs, Tickles. Have not
Tickle.
seen it in like 3 months, and I smell something.
Oh no.
I'm so scared.
Uh-oh.
I do not want to open it because I don't know if it's. I'm just
It could
like,
be a bit like did you leave a cricket in there or something?
no,
Could be, yeah, it could be a feeder. Ooh.
no,
Yes.
there's nothing in there.
Oh my gosh, you might want to dig through
Uh-oh.
there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
hurt them to check on them like that anyways, especially if you don't do it like all the time. So if you guys just like ever need to like check on your spider, do it. Like don't destroy their like especially if they're underground, carefully like remove the dirt with like a paintbrush away until you can, touch some legs and see if they're moving, but that's totally fine to check on them if you guys need to every once
I
in a while.
usually do, or like I'll have like a once a week, like, let's hang out, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I check on mine twice a week. I'm
I
like,
don't
what
know
are
if
you
I
guys
can do
doing in
that with
there?
the old world, but
I mean, have you seen my golden blue leg baboon?
I have not.
Okay, hold on. Well, I'll show you an
And
example
to answer
of
your
like
question,
when you
Mass
don't.
Bandit, I do not know anything about pink snakes or sharp-tailed snakes. Do you, Phil?
I don't know anything. I was just thinking about that. I was like, I don't know at all.
I don't know either.
Oh,
Is that
right.
your
I
heifer,
don't keep
Kira?
them.
Yeah, you ready for this? She's already stomping at me. I just want to let you know.
Wow, you're just gonna pull the top off like that?
Yeah, I'm not scared of her. You see her?
She's pretty.
Damn, yeah, she is
Yeah,
pretty.
she's locking up.
Yeah.
Damn, she's bold.
Yeah, she's not scared of nothing. This girl
Wow.
will literally slap at me. Show her fangs at me. She's not doing it right now because the top's off and I just blew on her, so she like knows I'm here. But like literally like taking that top off, she immediately came off the wall, legs up, stomps. I mean, the
Wow.
whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Phil, so Mass Bandit said sometimes a wet molt can cause that. So I'm wondering, Liz also said that it was something internal. So it could have been both things, that he could have had a partial internal wet molt.
Could have been anything. Yeah, could have been
Yeah.
anything. You're right. Yeah. Something could have not developed. Like, there's so many
Possibilities.
so many variables, so many things could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so hard to know because like it's
Yeah.
like one like it's hard because like it's not like you can just like rip open the body and do
Autopsy.
an autopsy on a tarantula because it's like we don't really even know that much like about like their insides as
Yeah,
people.
I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like,
Yeah.
it's dead.
I just usually count it as a loss, but it is good to know like because like I had almost wondered like had you sprayed like cologne near them or anything like that.
No, because he has them all in one room, the animal room.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. And then he also like takes like a shower and stuff. So yeah, definitely
Oh,
wouldn't.
did I just freeze?
You did.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
okay. I was
It's
gonna
fine.
say I have a snake room with an air purifier,
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. I figured.
so nothing gets in here.
Yeah. I know. We'll just have to count Arlo as a loss.
You can't
Yeah.
win them. You can't win them all.
No.
Right.
No, seriously, like, I've had like spiders that have lasted me like 3 months, and then I have ones that I've had for a year and a half and are
Years.
still doing great.
Yeah.
It just all depends on the genetics of that spider when they're born. Were they already born with something?
Hmm.
That's so hard to know. That's so hard to know.
hmm And that's something a lot of new keepers need to keep in mind, that you could have a whole collection of tarantulas and they could all be mature males. Like they could turn into mature males like me. All of that. I have 6. Well, there's more over there. in total, I have 8 mature males.
Holy
Tarantulas.
crap.
So that's something that you have to be prepared that you're eventually gonna lose them if you know.
Yeah, yeah, and the males
It
don't live
happens.
long.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. When I found out the Bobby was a boy, I'm like,
Yes, I think
you're
that is
so
right.
beautiful, and you're my first tarantula, and you're a man, and it's already been 2
Yeah.
years. It's coming.
It's coming.
Oh man, it is coming.
But
Yeah, it is.
Bob!
but a way to keep them preserved, the males especially, is downgrading them into something smaller where they're not doing such big laps.
Yeah.
2, keeping a water dish in there all the time, and 3, keep them cooler than
Yeah.
your other tarantulas. Because then I've even noticed with my male pokey, he's on the very bottom shelf, but like he doesn't wander because he's kept cooler, so he's not exerting all
Yeah,
that
good.
energy. He's just
Right.
staying huddled. I mean, he's not so cold that it's abuse, y'all. In the
No,
Yeah, I got you.
he's just
I got
literally
you. I
at
hear you.
he's literally at like 75 degrees.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he's good.
But you know what? It's okay. A lot of people don't know this. So tarantulas can survive in winter. Here where I live, there's this, I'm not gonna say the name, but there's this mountain, a famous mountain, and there's tarantulas and there's also rattlesnakes. But Richard, he went to Peru. You saw the video.
Yes.
There's tarantulas in the dead of winter and they survive. So
Yeah.
tarantulas can adapt. They
Yeah.
have the ability to do that to the
That's
cold.
why that's why they're like as old as dinosaurs, I believe. You
Mhm.
know, because they've been able to adapt so much over time.
Mhm.
And
Ice
it's
Age.
yeah,
They
dude,
did-
it's so
they
crazy.
survived.
Like how are you guys still here?
Mhm.
Crazy how they have
Ashley, is Bobby showing any signs of balding?
A little bit since his last molt.
Mhm.
That was maybe like a month or 2 ago. But I mean, he's still doing okay. He ate like a roach the other day. I'm not concerned about him. I just know that it's been 2 years now, year and a half, 2 years now, so
Mm.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I have my male curly hair. My male curly hair.
You got 2
I
males.
got what was that?
That you have already 2 mature males coming, or the other
Yeah,
one.
but out of my 6, yeah, I have 2. So the rest of them are
Okay.
all females.
Nice.
yeah, that is lucky.
My curly hair male is like, I'm ready to breed, I'm ready to do this, but I'm like, no, there's enough curly hairs in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, my stereotypic Irish Darlene is just making tons of sperm webs in his house. I mean, since the last time I went in there was like 4 new sperm webs, and I was like, "What are you doing in
Wow.
here?"
What a guy.
Yeah, dude, he's
What a
busy
guy.
in there. I'm like, uh, okay. He's just enjoying himself in there. Like, I literally was like, why is it so white in here?
So it's not about how often they need to be misted. If you just keep a corner of the enclosure moist
But
and you
ventilated.
make it adequately ventilated, yeah, always ventilated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can even get the tarantula cribs with the mesh top too. Even though they don't recommend that for tarantulas. So I take that back.
I got mesh tops.
I have mesh tops too, but there is a huge controversy over them. I've had people yell at me
I
because
have mesh
web.
tops. I have
Yeah.
fish tanks. I have PVC for my spoiled
Yeah.
female curly hair.
Ooh.
I have acrylic. I've had like the goofy Zoom Ed acrylic rubber band ones.
I still have
I've
those.
had them in all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is where I keep my Caribbean versicolor sling, one of them, in tarantula cribs. See how it's ventilated on both sides? So that's the key. Spray one side. Yes. See? So
Cat,
spray
you got the
one
cat
side.
pack.
Yeah, the cat pack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we hungry today? No. We're
The
hiding. Okay.
Versicolor gang. Dude, these ones are
Yeah.
the coolest. Not the coolest, but They have like an incredible color transformation from like sling to
Yeah, the
adult.
ontogenic color change is very, very cool to watch.
There's mine. Mine's so thick right now. I gave
Yeah,
him a
That
big
was
old,
my
yours
top.
is
That was
getting
my
big.
toss up for my
yeah.
first tarantula was body or a Versacolor,
This
and
one,
I ended up going with body. But
this one has literally freaking.
Versacolors are pretty.
She's pooped on me twice already. She shot poop at me.
Damn,
Yeah.
damn,
I was like,
damn.
it just hit my arm, and I was like, did that just happen? I got pooped on.
But actually, I'm glad that you passed on the versicolor because when it has to do with the Carabiner versicolor and the T. Celadonia, those are the most hardest, I would say, in my opinion, the most advanced New Worlds because they just die randomly. Like it doesn't matter how how good you take care of them as slings, they just die. And
Yeah.
for your first, yeah, that would have been a really bad traumatic experience for you.
Yeah,
I was like,
especially
God
because of
damn
how
it!
expensive they are. They're so expensive. They're $175 for
So
a
expensive. Yeah, that's snake
I was
money.
right
That's
Which one
snake
there.
is
money.
this?
Yep.
Wait, which one is this?
The T.
The
Saladonia
Brazilian
is
jewel.
100.
Brazilian jewel.
Yeah,
Oh
it's,
yeah, those are really beautiful. If you could find one.
I
yeah,
saw
they're
one
so
for
expensive.
400.
Yeah,
I'm good. Just to
Yeah.
have it die,
I'm
I
good.
would probably
I'm
cry
good.
myself to sleep.
And for something like this small
Mhm.
and a trapdoor,
I know.
yeah,
It's just
you never
because
Yeah.
there's
see it.
just not a lot of them in the hobby right now, like captive
Yeah.
bred available. That's why they're
Yeah.
so high in price.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
there's
That's what's
more
happening with
available,
the Gramastola roseas or the roseas.
uh-huh.
A lot of them, luckily, I was at first seeing prices for like 120, 140, and I was like, that's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
And then I saw somebody was showing me, one of my friends was showing me a video of what they have over by them, and like I saw one for like 160. I'm like, well, shit, I got a deal then because I paid 80 for mine.
Yeah, you did
Tiny
get a
ass
deal.
tick, tiny ass tick. Now
Mhm.
Yeah,
she's a little
they-
bit bigger, but
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
so
like,
expensive.
goddamn.
That's my Exinthus intermedia was $115. $115.
What size?
She was less than an inch. She's like three
Oh,
quarters.
that's too
Yeah,
much. That's overpriced.
Oh, I know. I just didn't
that's
want
what
to
you're
pay
gonna
shipping.
pay. That's what you're
I
gonna
just didn't
pay.
want to pay shipping. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, especially like, if you guys buy like tarantulas online, there's always going to be a $50 shipping fee.
Yep.
Which I was like, oh, I'm going to avoid it by doing this. No, I still paid the full price
Yeah.
for the spider.
Mhm.
Because I do try to buy them like from the stores, but breeders will always have them at a cheaper price. And it's
Yeah.
not
Always.
because there's anything wrong, it's just they have it available. Like Fangs
Mhm.
TV always has super freaking yummy prices on his tarantulas. I mean, like so good, make you want to go buy a credit card and pay it off later.
Okay.
No.
You know what? Let me see what he got right now.
Seriously, because he has like adults that he will sell for like $40, sub adults for $40. You
Wait,
can't
isn't that
beat that. That's
Fangs
Tom
TV?
Saxon. Fangs
Yeah.
TV,
Oh, okay.
Tom
Yeah.
Saxon. Yep. And he always has such good stock. Like he had a Cochiana Brunipes mature female for like a decent price. I just remember it being really decent. And God, he was like the first person I bought tarantulas from, you guys, and like literally like between him and Tom Patterson, both like my favorite people to like
Go.
buy from.
Yeah.
Just because
Go.
like when I first got into it, like I wanted to message them and they would answer. Like I wasn't even a customer yet, and they were answering, like responding, like, "Oh, this is how it goes. This is what you need. This is what to expect." Because like I was like, "What do I expect?" And just had
He
the best
lowered the price on
experience.
the shipping.
What?
He lowered the price on shipping.
Yeah, and he also allows you to make an account so you have points. So you can make points, and he has a whole reward system now. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
ThanksTV.com, you
All
guys.
right.
Buy from him.
Yeah. I mean, I personally love Tom Patterson because me and Phil were like not even that far from him, and he ships like the day after. Like he's quick. Yeah, Tom is quick.
Yeah. Both of them are really great at responding, making sure you have shipping details, can literally track when your spider is going to be there. You can choose if you want to have it delivered to a hub or your house. Like,
Right.
Always
like,
picked up. You always want the hub. Always.
yeah,
Especially during winter.
Yeah, but even also during the summer too, when it's blazing hot out.
True.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You can always have the choice to send it to a hub, and it's literally like when you go to check out, you can pick which hub to send it to. It's real easy.
I swear all my money just goes to tarantulas.
Dude, I literally
This is why it's an addiction.
dude, it's a problem because I haven't bought clothes for myself in like a year and a half, and like
Yep.
I didn't even come out here with any clothes to begin with because like I moved different states, and so I had to like literally pack like a bag that was like enough to fit on a plane, and that's all I came out here with. And then like I bought all these tarantulas, and like now I'm making these videos, and I'm like they're just all gonna see I don't have that many different clothes. I'm wearing the same stuff all the time, but like I don't go out. I don't, like I don't have like a normal daytime job, so it's like I don't need to get dressed anyways. So I'm just like always hanging out in sweats.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
give me gifts. Give me a tarantula or any kind of enclosure. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even told like anybody like my family that was like, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas? Give me some gift cards, please. Gift cards.
Right.
Buy more tarantulas." But I seriously need to stop until I move.
Okay, I need to stop. Stop.
What do you
Yeah,
guys recommend for Mass Bandit?
what
Because
is
if a versicolor essentially can die easily, what do you recommend for like a hardy first tarantula for somebody?
Avicularia.
Mine would be either an Aphonopalma or a Brachypalma, something that you can keep almost bone dry. Wouldn't recommend you keep any tarantula bone dry. At least have a water dish in there. But those ones are gonna be the most hardy, but they are going to take longer to grow out. But they are going to be the easiest to kill, or not the easiest to kill, but like the easiest to not kill per se.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with those statements, or maybe
Yeah.
even a Brazilian whitey. Any of those like New
Yeah,
World terrestrials.
I
They're
want
pretty
one of those
robust.
so bad.
Dude.
Yeah, they're pretty robust.
And they're crazy feeding responses.
Yeah,
Yes.
the feeding response is insane. They try to eat anything. It's so cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
mine will literally like be like sitting there, and then it'll just be like on my tongs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
like,
cool. It's so cool.
They're fun
Yeah.
to tongue feed for sure. Have you gotten to tongue feeding yet, Ashley?
I just drop it.
Oh, you just drop it. It took me a while.
Yeah, I just drop it or put my little bag. I don't like I got sensory issues. I'm a little autistic if you can't tell. But
I am too.
I do not like crickets.
No.
So there's an inside joke at the shop. But crickets freak me out, so I'll just grab the bag and be like, bye.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'll do it with like my pink toe over here because she's like right against the wall. And I'm like, girl, it's snack time. Hello.
Yeah. Those ones are harder to feed though.
I've done it with Bobby with the big old roach before. I was like, drop.
Yeah. Would you say that the arboreals are harder to feed?
Honestly, I've been just tongue feeding mine. My pokies lead off tongues.
But what if you're not tongue feeding though? You know?
It can be. If they're heavy webbers, then no, because you can just drop the prey item in the heavy web and they'll crush it. So
Yeah.
I usually like I said, like I have like my little bag of crickets and I'll just take the mesh top off or whatever I'm keeping it in and just be like
drop them in
into
there.
it.
yeah.
Or they'll
that's
like if it's
usually-
a front opening enclosure for them, I'll like obviously put like the feeders in there. They'll make their way up into the web and stick, and then there you go.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. For my arboreals, I always feed them crickets. I don't do the worms because they always bury and whatever. Tongue feeding, I don't do that. So it's always something that they're gonna hunt for. That's what I always feed.
Yeah. For sure. But okay, well, I think that this episode has probably been long enough. What do you guys think?
I think we had a great conversation. I loved
we did
it
too. If there's anything else you guys wanted to say, anything to the audience or anything like that?
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Of
Yeah,
Yes, I
all
loved
of you.
it.
This
I
was
love having you guys
overdue.
here. We all
Mhm.
needed to be here and do this today. And
This is fun.
shout out to our sponsors and to our new sponsors for supporting our channel and supporting our mission to spread positive awareness about all of our arachnid and reptile friends and making a much better world for them to live in the future. So, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys all have a blessed week. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
In the web of knowledge we spin all day, talking spiders every week they don't play. From the tarantula to the tiny mite, 8 legs of wisdom bringing truth to light. On the spider sense they break down the fear, creepy crawly legends are getting clear for the love of science.